At 6 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, a Lavaca County inmate escapes. Authorities now on the lookout.
A new candidate announced he is running for District 30 just one day after Jeannie Morrison announces she's not seeking re-election.
And the murder trial of Caitlin Armstrong continues with new evidence not playing in her favor.
Well, we're looking at the Doppler radar there. You can see how the heaviest rain is out over the coastal waters. We still have quite a bit of cloud cover and it's drizzly and damp. How long is this going to last? We'll be talking about it coming up.
And the Victoria East Titans are hosting its first playoff game in over 5 years. That's coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
Today between 7:30 a.m. and 12:25 p.m., an inmate at the Lavaca County Jail walked away from a work detail. Security cameras indicate the inmate may have taken off in a black Chevy SUV. The vehicle was last seen headed south on FM 318 towards Sweet Home. 63-year-old Donald Keith Kirkman has a slim build. He's 6 foot tall, 165 pounds. He has gray hair, blue eyes. At the time, he was wearing a yellow shirt, yellow pants, and an orange jacket. Anyone with information can call the Lavaca County Sheriff's Office at 361-798-2121 or call 911.
A day after District 30 State Representative Jeannie Morrison announced she's not seeking re-election, the first candidate has announced he's running for the seat. Former Jackson County Sheriff A.J. Louderback wants to represent District 30. He is a fifth-generation Texan with over 40 years of experience in law enforcement. He was elected to Jackson County Sheriff 5 times. Louderback unsuccessfully ran for U.S. Congress District 27 in the primary last March against Congressman Michael Cloud.
Just before 9 a.m., police were busy with this crash in the 100 block of James Coleman Drive near Zach Lentz and Highway 87. Victoria police say a white truck left the eastbound feeder road of Zach Lentz, drove through the parking lot of the new First Bank, hitting several cars. The driver then crashed into a tree.
The only person that was inside of the vehicle was the driver of the original one. The other vehicles were parked and unoccupied. He did go to the hospital to seek medical treatment.
Police say the driver may have had a medical condition causing him to lose control.
Due to inclement weather, the Port Lavaca Veterans Day celebration will take place at the Milford Young Recreation Room beside the pavilion at Lighthouse Beach. It's tomorrow afternoon from 1 to 3 p.m. You can expect free food and drinks accompanied by live music.
Here's your viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. Here's the question. Are you attending a Veterans Day ceremony? Yes or no? Let's look at the numbers. 17% say yes. 83% of our voters say no. We thank you for voting. We want to hear your opinion. Come to CrossroadsToday.com/vote to take part, and we'll have an update on 25 News now at 10. One thing getting in the way of some of these celebrations
is the weather, which I'm sure meteorologist Mac Bettis can tell us more about.
You bet. Well, I thought it was a great idea. I love a parade, I'm sorry, but tomorrow is just going to be cold and wet, and we don't want our veterans getting sick out there, that's for sure. Here's Victoria. This is the total rainfall we've had in the last 24 hours. And you notice that if you look at the scale over here, up to 2 inches in Victoria, the city, but heavier activity held 3 to 4 inches out here to the west and all the way down Highway 59. It's not over. This is just the beginning of about 4 days of dampness, and we'll be talking more about that coming up in a moment.
Mac, thank you. The heartbreaking stories only continue coming out of Israel and the Gaza region. The war raging on for over a month now, and in Michigan, thousands worry and pray for their loved ones caught in the crossfire, including a doctor who says he's now lost 20 relatives in the war, all killed during the airstrikes and bombing that began October 7th.
The one that really shook me the most was when the house next to my sister was struck by a missile, and we had 12 relatives who lived in that house.
Ahmad, whose parents are both from Palestine and had to move around as refugees before making their way to Detroit in the early 2000s so that he could continue his studies in medicine, leaving many of his family members behind, which he will never see again. Now, according to the Palestinian Ministry of Health, drawn from sources in the Hamas-controlled territory, more than 10,700 people have been killed in Gaza since last month.
Many others are injured, and some parts of the Palestinian settlement have turned to complete rubble. And while neither Israel or Hamas is working toward a ceasefire, some aid is expected to be coming in for residents there.
As explosions continue to pound parts of northern Gaza, people inside the region say there's a desperate need of humanitarian supplies and assistance.
What you guys are seeing on social media and on TVs is actually 2% of the reality. So know that we're dying here. If we're not dead physically, we're dead inside.
Israeli officials have agreed to halt military action daily for 4 hours in areas of northern Gaza so that residents can flee south.
About 3 hours before the pauses will begin, the Israelis will, through a variety of means, notify civilians living in northern Gaza that the pause is going to start, and here's when, and also advise on the safest corridor, the safest passage out.
But some say these pauses won't make much of a difference, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says there will be no ceasefire until Hamas releases its hostages. On Thursday, the Senate unanimously passed a resolution that condemns Hamas, quote, for its premeditated, coordinated, and brutal terrorist attacks on Israel. President Joe Biden posted a statement saying Israel has an obligation to, quote, fully comply with international law.
Any government in the world that does not support immediate ceasefire becomes a participant and supportive of discontinuous war crimes that are happening in Gaza.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The UN Relief and Works Agency reports roughly 1.5 million Gaza residents are displaced since the start of the conflict.
The Caitlin Armstrong murder trial continued in Austin with GPS data from Armstrong's Jeep the night of the murder. Armstrong is accused of murdering pro cyclist Moriah Mo Wilson on May 11, 2022. Austin police were able to get GPS data that showed everywhere Armstrong's vehicle went on that night. The data places Armstrong's Jeep on Maple Avenue at the time of Wilson's murder. Wilson's body was found on Maple Avenue that night. The court will be in recess until Monday morning.
Governor Greg Abbott signed a new vaccine bill Friday. Senate Bill 7 will prohibit COVID-19 vaccine mandates by private employers. Employers could even face a fine of up to $50,000. In the final version of the bill, healthcare providers are exempt, and employers falling under this category may establish a, quote, reasonable policy, unquote, for those employees who are not vaccinated against COVID-19.
Late Thursday night, the Texas Senate passed two education bills. KXAS reports two Senate bills would create a $500 million education savings account program for private school tuition and give teachers pay raises. Today, the Texas Tribune reports a Texas House committee advanced school voucher legislation that would establish an education savings account initiative, raise per student spending by the state, and it would increase teacher pay. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has notified Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas of a new Texas law that grants Border Patrol agents more authority under some circumstances. The law allows Border Patrol agents to enforce state felony offenses if they occur at a port of entry or Border Patrol traffic checkpoint. Border Patrol agents must complete a specialized training program with DPS before using that authority.
We have two updates on projects at Riverside Park. Crews are installing signage, utilities, and other equipment at the Riverside Dog Park, also known as Riverside Bark. The dog park will take about 3.5 acres near the Pump House area and is scheduled to open sometime in December.
City of Victoria crews are putting the finishing touches on the Riverside Park Duck Pond. Some of the final features include a planter and waterfall at the new gazebo, safety handrails on the wooden boardwalk, and additional parking, including handicapped accessible spaces. The duck pond is scheduled to open next month. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. A new study suggests Americans do not feel good about the economy. That's coming up on 25 News Now at 6.
Also ahead, a remarkable story out of San Antonio, how an Army veteran saves the life of another veteran.
For more than a decade, meteorologist Trey Mining has served as your trusted face at 25 News Now First Warn Storm Team. But now, he faces a different kind of storm.
So I saw a neurologist here in town, and he says, I think it's Parkinson's possibly, but I'm not sure.
Join anchor Carolina Estrain as she presents Trey's Story, a 25 News Now Extra, this Thursday night at 10. Sometimes, the bravest forecasts aren't about the weather.
A Tesla caught fire at a home in Plano early Friday morning. The car's owner told WFAA they heard a hissing sound coming from the battery, which was installed. Thursday, when the owner checked the car, flames were shooting from the battery. Officials said there was some smoke damage to the home, and a second car in the garage was also not damaged.
Americans are becoming increasingly pessimistic about the U.S. economy. A University of Michigan report shows a drop of 5% between this month and the last. That makes the fourth consecutive month of decline. A university spokesperson says high interest rates and ongoing wars in Ukraine and Israel appear to be spurring the negativity. The report indicates younger and lower income consumers are disliking the economy at an even faster rate. In San Antonio, a pair of military veterans, 2 generations apart, are now tied together forever.
That's right. One of them ended up saving the other's life in a parking lot on his birthday.
So we stopped at McDonald's and we started to head over to Great Clips.
Cecilia Nethery is talking about the morning of February 5th of this year, when she was taking her Air Force veteran father, John Kearney, to his regular haircut on his birthday. But the sausage biscuit that Kearney was eating became lodged in his throat and had other plans for him.
I noticed that he couldn't talk. I asked him, "Are you choking?" And he kind of shook his head, yes.
I was thinking, I'm choking, I'm dying, I'm going to die.
He was turning blue and purple at this time, his lips, his neck.
Cecilia found this parking lot right across the street by that Banfield Animal Hospital and Great Clips. Her father already without air for a minute. She knew she only had seconds to figure out how to save his life.
As the cars were driving by, I tried to stop somebody, but there were no cars driving by.
That's when 16-year Army veteran Adam Green spotted the struggling senior.
I saw the desperation and fear in her eyes, and I figured I had to stop and see what was going on.
He pulled in his truck and he came over, and I told him, my dad was choking.
Green immediately sprung into action.
I administered the Heimlich.
Everything came out, all the dough, all the sausage, everything. Then I could breathe again.
He even went to have a birthday lunch later that day. A birthday lunch he almost didn't make it to.
If I wasn't running late, I never would have came across them, and the outcome could have been differently.
And he's my hero for saving my dad's life. And I love you, Adam.
Jeremy Baker, KENS 5.
Great story. Well, good evening, everybody. It's Friday night, football night in America, and we've got Victoria East and Medina Valley here at Memorial Stadium. Game of the week, Memorial Stadium, cool, light rain, grab the jacket, northerly winds, maybe 15 miles an hour. Temperature at game time, at kickoff, about 59 degrees. So support your team, get out there and cheer, but don't forget the coat. We'll be talking about what you can expect for the weekend coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Here's a look at what's coming up on Community Crossroads. This week we sit down with Midcoast Construction Academy and the Theater of Victoria, followed by the City of Victoria and Restoration House Ministries, plus the president of the Rotary Club.
So Rotary is one of the single most largest charitable organizations on the face of the planet. We boast 1.6 million members worldwide, and our goal is to eradicate polio. So it feels like your dollar goes a little further.
Well, good evening, everybody. Yes, the cold weather blew in last night, and it's going to feel more like November for the next few days. Right now, we're at 59 degrees. Remember, yesterday we were at 80. It's a big difference. Winds still out of the north, and they'll be out of the north for about 4 days. So our high was only 62. Our low was 57. That's what I call a short thermometer, and obviously a big difference from where we were just yesterday. The rainfall has been kind of spotty, 4,200 since midnight out at the airport. But yesterday, my Coco Ross friend reported that at Riverside Park, they had 1.65, okay? So an inch and a half has already fallen in the city, and that's exactly where that came from. And so we're not out of the woods yet. We're going to be under the gun for rain for a couple of days. Now, mostly we have clouds over us today. You can see how most of the heavier rain has been out over the Gulf waters for this afternoon and today. And the clearing comes up to maybe about San Antonio. But we're going to stay on the cloudy side, and more shower activity is going to be rolling in. Notice up here in the Panhandle, they're actually getting a little snow out there in eastern New Mexico. This is a good map. Let me show you. Victoria, as you can see right about there, is in the dark green, which is right about here. But there were areas to the south of us from Inez all the way down to Goliad that had a lot more rain over the last 12 hours. And that was basically all of this morning. And we are now looking at your current temperatures. So everybody is cleared down into the 60s and 50s. And all of a sudden it looks more like November out there. Now, this is Future Tracker. We're going into the future now. Notice how the rain is heaviest over the Gulf waters, but we're still sort of in the soup. All right, that's tomorrow morning, Saturday. Saturday afternoon, we might get a little break in the rain activity, but we'll still keep the cloud deck and the cold north wind with us. I want you to see what happens on Sunday. Another big blue moisture rolls up from the southwest and gives us a significant rainfall on Sunday on into Monday. So it is not over with just yet. Here are your low temperatures for tonight in the 50s. We're only going to get up to about 60 tomorrow. So it's what you're looking at out there right now. You're going to see all day Saturday. And we'll take a look at what the big picture gives us. The front is past us. Now we're going to get this low pressure system rolling up on top of us. That's why the rain will be getting heavier on Sunday and on into Monday as that big plume of moisture rolls over the area. So we could see storm total 2 to 3 inches of rain in about 3 or 4 days. So that's going to be very interesting. By the time we get to Monday, the heavy stuff does pull out of here, and then we finally get a clearing. You won't see the sun till about Tuesday of next week. I wouldn't suggest you go out in the boating. It's going to be windy, cold, and wet. Tomorrow, 61 in Port Lavaca, overcast and wet. Tomorrow, Cuero, only 61, overcast and wet. And here we go with the rain opportunity for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, finally on Tuesday, beginning to clear out. So it's a wet and chilly weekend. I'd be on the couch with some hot chocolate and some marshmallows. That's what I'm going to do. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Karina, back to you.
Thank you, Mac. And now here's Sports Director Gina Perez.
Thanks, Karina. It's day 2 of the first round of playoffs, and there are 6 games tonight. That's coming up after the break. At a crossroads, the Victoria East Titans are hosting its first playoff game in years. And after last week's exhilarating win over the West Warriors, sports reporter Zach Brown is live at Memorial Stadium with the latest on the Titans.
Well, what a day for the Reeve brothers. Head coach Travis Reeve over at El Campo. Now here in Victoria, head coach Charlie Reeve and his Victoria East Titans set to host Medina Valley after a season that saw them finish in second place in a very tough district. And what a season it was. That no longer matters. Now they turn the page.
It's a new season, and records don't matter. Everybody's 0-0 right now, and from this point on, we're fighting to stay together.
Not many people could have seen this season coming for the East Titans, who have shattered all expectations after what many thought would be a rebuilding year. But everyone quickly bought in, playing for something much larger than themselves.
We're like a real family. We play for each other. And that's a big thing about football, is the little things like that. And when you're playing for somebody, you're gonna go out and you're gonna perform. We all believed it right off the start. Right when the season started, we all believed in stuff like this is gonna happen. And when you believe in it and really believe in it, and not just talk the talk, it's gonna happen.
And we didn't let somebody else write our own story. Yes, sir. Hey, and that story ain't done yet. Yes, sir. Okay? Hey, our goal was to play our best football in November, and that's what we're doing right now. Yes, sir. Hey, we ain't done. No, we ain't done.
That belief has the Titans playing some of their best football at the right time, which was the goal the entire time. Now they hope to give the folks in the stands something that'll last in their minds for years.
I mean, it's huge for us and huge for the community to be able to play in front of our home crowd and families, and so hasn't been done around here in a long time, and so it's special to be able to host a playoff game.
When asked if there were any concerns about a first-year quarterback and with it being his first time with this team in the playoffs, his response, just look at our last 2 weeks when they beat a very good Veterans Memorial team and hoisted the boot for the first time in 3 years. Now, this team right here, excited. They're hosting a by-district playoff game at home. Reporting live from Memorial Stadium, Zach Brown, KVUE-TV 25, News Now Sports.
And like he mentioned, Victoria East will take on Medina Valley. That's tonight at Memorial Stadium at 7 at Memorial Stadium, Frost Bank Field. Well, the West Warriors are up in San Antonio to play the Southside Cardinals. The Warriors are 4th place in the district, but don't let that fool you. The Warriors are a good football team, just have come up short against the better teams in the district, but hopefully that'll change tonight in Southside Stadium. Kickoff is at 7. The Calhoun Sand Crabs are coming off a district clinching victory and hope to continue that streak against a team with the same record, 6-4. That's the Zapata Hawks. Kickoff is at 7. First-year head coach Travis Reeve and the Ricebirds squeaked into the playoffs and are fortunate enough to host a playoff game tonight. We will see if both the Reeve brothers can leave tonight with a victory. That game is at 7. The Hallettsville Brahmas are coming off a huge comeback win over the Yoakum Bulldogs, but are facing off against the reigning state champions, the Franklin Lions. Hallettsville will have its hands full tonight. Game is at 7:30 in Waller. And the final game in the area is featuring the Shiner Comanches. Shiner started 0-5, but are back in a win-or-go-home scenario. This is a rebuilding year, but every game for this young squad that they play in the postseason will help in their future. Kickoff is at 7 in Pleasanton. And it's been a hectic 2 days for football, of course. I mean, we had 11 last night. We've got 6 more tonight, so hopefully they can stay dry and wet, because
it's a big night.
Welcome to the playoffs.
Right, welcome to the playoffs.
Didn't you guys tell me that in the cold weather, that's when you play the best football?
I mean, that's football weather.
That's
that
football
true?
weather.
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you, boys. We're back in a moment. The National Toy Hall of Fame announces this year's finalist.
Finally tonight, the votes are in, and the National Toy Hall of Fame has 4 new inductees. The newest members, Fisher-Price Corn Popper, baseball cards, yay, Cabbage Patch Kids, and Nerf, double yay. As a part of the museum's 25th anniversary, a 23-member board of experts in the study of play chose the toys they believe made the greatest impact, but the public also weighed in by voting on the museum's website, acting as one member of that committee. Okay, I have baseball cards and Nerf.
I had a Cabbage Patch Kid.
You had Cabbage Patch?
I had the little thing that popped.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that was a good
So
one.
we all got some votes, yes. And we vote for a little cooler weather and not as much rain.
Yes, not as much rain, but staying right about 60 degrees through about 3 days. So just keep the raincoat handy. It's not bitter cold, okay? You're going to be fine. Just know that it's going to rain a little bit heavier Sunday night into Monday. So this is not over. We're just beginning this 3 or 4 day cold snap. And then we'll get back into the 70s sometime next week. So
And
enjoy
the
the
80s
weekend.
next Friday. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mac, and thanks for joining us.
We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.